So these are my note cards. Texting and driving must stop. 69% of drivers between the ages of 18 and 34 admit to using their phone while driving. The article Facts and Statistics About Texting and Driving say that the latest statistic that was collected in 2018 about 2015 says that the Department of Transportation says that 3,477 deaths occurred because of distracted driving and 391,000 were injured because of it. Are these numbers not enough for people to understand that it needs to stop? It needs to be enforced more as well. Texting and driving should be legal in all 50 states so that innocent lives are no longer jeopardized. The U.S. distracted driving rates need to go down. Most of this class are on our phones way too much. 62% of this class admitted to texting and driving on a daily basis. Now imagine how many people on a bigger scale that is on a daily basis that are on their phone. I have a friend who almost died because she was texting and driving and she ran into a semi. Today I will provide to you stats and to prove why texting and driving should be illegal in all 50 states and enforced more seriously. So I'm going to start with some staggering statistics. The lives affected because of texting and driving are way too high. There is no reason for innocent lives to be taken like they are. These stats should be enough to show how simple and irresponsible this action can be. Edgar and Snyder Associates reports that 660,000 drivers are on their phones while driving. National Safety Council reports that 1.6 million car crashes a year are caused because of phone usage while they're driving. Texting and driving is Edgar and Associates also reports that texting and driving is 6 times more likely to cause an accident than drunk driving. What's interesting about that is that 6 students in this class, including myself, think that texting and driving is just as bad as drunk driving. One student says, I believe that texting and driving is just as bad because when you're drunk driving, you're impaired, and when you're texting and driving, you're also impaired. So what do drivers like us think? 94% are in favor of banning texting and driving. According to AAA poll, 94% of teen drivers acknowledge the danger of texting and driving, and 35% admit to still doing it. Edgar and Associates also says that that was what Edgar and Associates said, and 100% of our classmates admit to distracted driving, whether it's texting, calling, or on social media. As stated previously, 3,744 people died in car accidents due to being distracted by their phones. That was reported from Facts and Statistics About Texting and Driving. This alone should compel people to stop using their phones while they're driving. If those stats weren't enough to convince you, here are some more reasons why texting and driving should not be allowed. Cabby Levi presents some reasons that you may not think of right off the bat. When you text and drive, you're setting a horrible example for younger kids. When you text and drive when they're in the car, you're also telling them that it's okay to break the law. In most states, texting and driving is illegal, but in the few that aren't, it doesn't make it any better. It sets a horrible example and it says that it's okay to put other people's lives in danger. In the article 15 Facts About Texting and Driving, it points out a few different points you might not think of right away as well. It's not only the driver's responsibility to not text and drive, but it's also your companions. If you know your friend's texting and driving, do not call them, do not text them, because it will give them that temptation to pick up their phone. Wait until you know that they've gotten where they needed to be safely. Another reason is to create a healthier detachment from using our phones. As teens and adults, we're way too attached to our phones, so it'll create a better separation. On top of that, Maggie Murray, in the article 6 Reason Why to Never Text and Drive, presents 2 more reasons. If you get in an accident, your auto insurance premium will go up, which no one wants. And Murray also presents that Virginia Tech Transportation Institute has determined that texting and driving can increase your chance of getting in an accident by 23 times. So now you might be wondering what states haven't banned texting and driving. Only 3 states Arizona, Montana, and Missouri are the only 3 that have not made texting and driving illegally. 8 students, including myself, think that texting and driving should be illegal in all 50 states. One of the students said texting and driving is an extremely selfish act. The National Conference of State Legislatures reports that 15 states have banned handheld cell phone usage while texting, and there have been no states so far that completely ban cell phone use. New York Times presents a more emotional poll to this argument and talks about Reggie Shaw. Reggie Shaw one day learned this the hard way, but he was driving home in his utility truck from work, and he had been reported earlier that day texting and driving and swerving a little bit. He was coming down a hill and actually clipped 2 men that were a car coming toward him, and the 2 men in the car later died that day in critical condition. 50% of this class have also known someone or experienced themselves texting and driving accident, whether it's a death or an injury. That's an extremely high rate, and it should not be. So put yourself in Reggie or any of your classmates' shoes. Would you be able to live with yourself if you caused something to happen like that? So many innocent lives are taken on a regular basis and every year because of the super, super convenient factor we have in our lives that shouldn't be taken for advantage of. It's a luxury that we abuse every day. We must get better at setting an example for our children, our friends, and put our phones down. As a community, we need to band together and push for all 50 states to ban texting. This is the audience. Okay.